guys and welcome to today's video. Today I'm going to talk all about charity shops. I've got a video already up about how to buy books at charity shops and it seemed quite popular, so I thought today I would share with you my tips on buying clothes at charity shops. I am by no means a charity shop pro. These are just a couple of tips I have which I've kind of picked up over the last year or so. I've only really been shopping at charity shops for the last year. I know some people have been shopping at them for their entire life. I have not. This is merely just my opinion. Some of you might disagree with some of my tips. I just kind of wanted to share it because I really wanted to encourage people to go into charity shops. It's better for the environment, it's great to be helping out a charity, and for me I just find it very enjoyable. It's something I do kind of weekly at the moment. I find it's a great opportunity to think about something else that's not like stressful. I just find it very relaxing. You find really weird stuff. It's something my boyfriend and I both like to do. I hate regular shopping in store and he hates regular shopping in store, but charity shops are something we really enjoy because you just don't know what you can find. I struggle to kind of film these sort of videos because my mind goes all over the place, so if this video is a little bit all over the place, please excuse that. I am trying to keep it concise and I do have some notes which I'm going to have to refer to, otherwise I'd forget stuff. I would ramble on. I mean, I'm still expecting to ramble on a little bit, but the notes will help me a little bit. The first thing I wanted to say is that I know we're kind of going through scary times, but I do think it's still quite important to shop at charity shops even now, because charity shops were closed for such a long time that a lot of charities really do need that extra money. They have loads of stock at the moment, so it's worth popping in because actually I think they have better stuff than they usually do, and they could close again as well. So if you can get to charity shop at the moment, I would definitely recommend it. They are limiting the amount of people that can go in, so there are some charity shops near me that are only allowing 2 people in at a time, so you could have to queue outside. But typically I don't think people are in charity shops for a very long time, especially because at the moment you can't try on anything apart from outerwear. You have to hand sanitize your hands because unlike other shops you really have to rummage, in my opinion. You can't really just window shop and just look at the first item on the rail. You have to like really go through the rail, at least that's how I shop. But they are quarantining items. I think it's for 48 hours, I could be wrong, but they are quarantining it for a bit. And if you do buy it, you can then quarantine it yourself. I bought some bits recently, and even though I knew they'd probably quarantined it for 48 hours, I quarantined it for another 3 or 4 days before I tried it on. Now obviously shopping at charity shops is totally different to shopping at regular shops, and I think we're very much in the mentality that we can like go onto ASOS, click something, it arrives the next day, and it's very like instant, and charity shop shopping is just not like that. And don't get me wrong, I love ASOS and I love ASOS next day delivery. I think where possible we should try to at least be buying something secondhand, supporting charity shops, and just not adding to the amount of waste we have in the world. And don't get me wrong, I am by no means perfect. I think I have a new look haul coming up very soon. I love high street brands, and I do like buying stuff brand new because you're not going to find like the latest fashion, but I find it's really good for basics and for pieces you're going to have in your wardrobe for a long time. The first tip I have, actually I mentioned in my book charity shop video as well, that is to look in the windows. Often they have like the better pieces in the window to draw people in. You can always ask for those pieces. You can ask what size they are, you can ask to see it, they can take it off the mannequin if it's on a mannequin. Obviously only if you're serious. If you just want to see it for the sake of it, there's no chance of you buying it. I'd recommend not asking to see it because they have to take it off the mannequin. But if you probably are going to buy it, then definitely ask for them to get it off the mannequin, get it out of the window for you so you can have a look. Before you go in, I would recommend you have a rough idea of what you want. So for example, at the moment I know I need a new leather belt. I would like some more knitwear. I am really into cardigans if they're the right shape. I'm after some cashmere jumpers. I need a new warm coat. If I found a good pair of Doc Martens, I would probably get them as well. Even though I don't really buy shoes from charity shops, if I'm honest. I've never bought a pair from a charity shop, but if they were like nearly new or new, I would definitely pick them up. There are some bits that are really popular in charity shops. For example, cashmere jumpers, you will find them quite often, at least in London. But it's nice to go in with an idea. The 90s is really in at the moment, and as you'd expect, the charity shops have loads of 90s items which are genuine 90s items that people have just got around to donating. Actually, you could probably find like a really cool leather blazer in a charity shop instead of buying it off Boohoo or wherever else. Next, check everything. And I know this is controversial, but I check maybe not absolutely everything, because for example I don't really wear skirts, so I won't go through every single last skirt, but I do pretty much go through everything else. For example, I'll get to jumpers and I will rummage through every single last jumper that's on the rail. I probably wouldn't look at size 8s and below, and I wouldn't look at size 16 and above, but I will look at size 10 to 14 throughout, because even though I am a 12, I know that sometimes 10s come out a little bit big, and equally I don't mind an oversized jumper, so I will look through every single last piece in that section. I will also look at smalls through to large, even though I'm a medium. Yeah, just look through everything. Honestly, it sounds like it takes really long. You're just literally flicking through, and if anything catches my eye, then I'll take it out, but usually I just kind of flick through and move on. I think I can do a whole store in under 5 minutes, I would say. Obviously it depends on how big the store is. The stores in London aren't huge, but I can do about a store in about 5 minutes if I'm not like trying anything on or thinking about it too much. I can get through a whole store in about 5 minutes. For me, I have only bought stuff that I thought is from a good brand, and this is your decision, because obviously they do have cheaper brands in charity shops, probably more so than they have expensive brands, but I personally wouldn't buy anything that's from Primark or New Look or Boohoo or Misguided unless I absolutely loved it. But I haven't ever bought something that's from a cheaper high street brand. Zara and Topshop I would potentially buy, but that's like my cut-off personally, unless I found a piece that I absolutely loved, but that's never happened. Like I said, I would typically only buy like And Other Stories. I would get Marks and Spencer's, but they're nicer stuff. Just other brands that are higher end brand, because for me, I'm shopping in charity shops because I really want like good quality clothes for affordable price. So for me, it's just not worth buying the New Look stuff. I understand that some people are shopping in charity shops not necessarily to build their wardrobe, but just because they're really conscious of the amount of waste they're creating, and I am conscious of the amount of waste I'm creating, but equally I want to buy top quality products. So with that, you need to be very careful of the condition it is in. You need to check under the arms. Sometimes things get ripped there. You usually need to check like lining to see if that's ripped. You need to check to see if a jumper's bobbled. If a jumper's bobbled, I probably wouldn't bother buying it. Just check stainings, check buttons. You need to check all that sort of stuff in my opinion, and I would personally only buy it if it's in good condition. That said, you have to pay up in charity shops. I think people think that you're not paying a lot in charity shops. That is a lie. You're not paying as much as in store most of the time, but actually I think when you're buying fast fashion in charity shops, I still think it's quite expensive, probably more so than in store. I've seen, for example, Primark tops selling for £8, which you'd probably pay in Primark £8, but then equally I've bought coats from Marks and Spencer's for £16, which I still think it might be a bit expensive for what people are expecting to get in a charity shop, but in the grand scheme of things, £16 is very cheap for a coat. I've paid like £20 for dresses, but they're from like better brands. You do have to pay up. I do think this varies massively from store to store. On one side of the road I'll have a dress that's from Marks and Spencer's and that will cost me £8. The other side of the road you'll get exactly the same dress for £20, but that's just kind of the luck really. That's why sometimes I do have a good rummage and then go back and buy stuff. You need to be careful with charity shops because obviously once it's gone really. They do have designer stuff quite often, but again you're gonna have to pay up for it. I've seen, maybe not super high end, but I've seen like Mulberry bags, but they would still be selling for £200. Some stores do have a lot of designer items, and they sometimes have like a cabinet where they keep all the designer bit, but I would say that it's not as easy to find as you'd expect. A lot of charity shops nowadays just put their designer stuff on eBay, and that's how they sell that. Buying designer in a charity shop, even though it might seem quite expensive, it's still way cheaper than you're going to get it on eBay, but obviously on eBay it's just so much easier to find. So for example, I have seen blazers, like Ralph Lauren blazer I recently saw. It was a bit small for me so I didn't buy it. It was being sold for £25, which I think is quite a lot, especially because if I were to spend £25 normally I would think about it, but in a charity shop you don't really have that choice. You kind of have to buy it there and then. And then I checked on eBay and it was up for £60 and it was exactly the same blazer. It is cheaper than shopping on eBay, but obviously it's not as easy as shopping on eBay in my opinion. It's different than shopping on eBay because I guess at least you can try it on and you can't on eBay. My next tip is just to get to know your charity shops. I know which ones I like, which ones I don't. I have charity shops that I love and I don't understand how they do it, but their pieces are just always so beautifully curated. I think maybe they only put out really nice stuff. Maybe they just know that their target audience is a little bit younger. And then there's others that I don't typically find anything in, but I still think that they are worth going into, because other people might have the same view as you, that there might be that one time that they have something that's amazing. You might be the only person that finds it because everyone else is thinking, oh no, they don't ever have anything good. Next, I would say check the men's section. Amazing for blazers, amazing for t-shirts in particular. Oh, and jumpers I think are okay as well. Oh, and even like coats, I guess occasionally you can find nice coats. Just definitely have a look in the men's section. Sometimes things end up in the men's section and they're actually women's, so it's just always worth having a look. You don't have to look through every single last piece. I don't look through the shirts, for example, because I probably don't want a men's shirt at the moment, but I will look through all the black t-shirts to see if I can find a cool band tee. Yeah, it's just always worth having a look. Honestly, quite often you end up with brand new stuff in charity shops because people bought it and then they didn't wear it, or bought it and then it didn't end up fitting them. So quite often you can find things that are new with tags, but you are going to pay that slight premium for new with tags for sure. Next, and this one might be controversial, and initially I was really kind of anti this, but I think in order for this to be sustainable, we have to be able to return items to charity shops if we get home and we don't like them, just like we would with any other shop. I like to bring a piece home, I like to try it on, decide if I like it, decide if it works for my wardrobe, and if it doesn't, I return it. This is a bit controversial because some people are saying, like, why would you take money back from a charity? But I think, in my opinion, and like, you're welcome to disagree, in my opinion, in order for this to be sustainable for me, and in order for me to be spending now, don't get me wrong, if the item was like £2, I would probably just donate it back to a charity shop. But if I've spent £25 on a jumper, or even £10 on a jumper, I would personally just get a refund, especially at the moment when we can't try items on in store apart from jackets. Then I think charity shops are very, very understanding at the moment. If you do want to return it, as long as you have the tag on it and you have your receipt, they don't really mind. It's usually 30 days. Recently I had a shop tell me it was 90 days, which blew my mind, but I think the 30 days is very nice because a lot of us are wanting to quarantine it before we try it on. Something else that's worth noting is, I think there's a bit of a myth about how like nicer areas have nicer stuff. I don't think that's really true. I do think if maybe you're going to areas which are not as nice, you're less likely to find an abundance of really nice stuff. I still think you'll find a few things that are good, and you might be the only person that's looking for that, especially if the target audience is a bit different. I'm unsure about this, but I think quite often items kind of get spread around stores. I don't think that everything that's donated to the Oxfam in Notting Hill is going into the Oxfam in Notting Hill. Again, I could be wrong, but I do think it gets kind of spread around other stores around it. I do think that some charity shops are just more expensive. British Heart Foundation is pretty pricey. Oxfam is pretty pricey. There are some boutique charity shops which are, again, pretty pricey, but they're really curating the items that are in there. I know that there's a Crisis in, for example, Cold Drops. These are just the ones that are nearer to me, which is very curated. The brands are just that little bit nicer. You don't really get much of the fast fashion brands. It's kind of more medium high street brands. And then you also have like Mary Porter's has a few charity shops. They are also a little bit more expensive, but again, it's also because the quality of the product is typically a little bit better. I also think it's quite important still to not buy stuff that you're not going to use, because someone else might want that top and there's no point it sitting wasting space in your wardrobe. If you're buying stuff in charity shops just because you want to donate the money, then just donate the money. You don't need to be taking stuff home that you don't need or don't want or aren't going to wear. If you do that, then make sure you do donate it on again to the charity shop. I don't think I've got any other tips. I just think go often and spend a little bit of time. If you've got a lunch break, you want to do a little bit of walking. Sometimes I use charity shops as a good excuse to get my step count up. It's warm in the charity shops compared to outdoors. Obviously you have to be careful, be safe. If you're high risk, maybe don't go at the moment. For me, as a healthy 20-something-year-old, I really enjoy charity shopping. Even at the moment, I would highly recommend it. And I thought I'd quickly show you a few bits which I have bought in charity shops over the last couple of months. They're not that recent, but I thought I'd just kind of show you a few examples of what's in charity shops, although hopefully I have clipped in a few videos. Also, some charity shops sort things by size and others sort stuff by colour. I don't mind either, because when it's by size, yes, I think it's a bit easier to find something that fits you, but then when it's by colour, there are equally colours I know that I won't wear, so I don't look at blue because I probably don't want anything blue at the moment, so I just kind of skip that section altogether. Yeah, charity shops just vary. Just get to know the ones in your local area, and I think actually just find somewhere that has quite a few together. I don't really like going to just one in a day. I like to go to 10 in a day, 8 in a day, like quite a few. So I thought I'd show you a few bits that I bought in charity shops recently. Some still have price tags on them because they're recent and some don't, but I thought I would show you anyway. Quickly before I get started with the haul, because I just thought of a few other things. Charity shops also do sales. In the sales, the prices are like really low. Sometimes they'll do like £1 for everything that's in store, £2 for everything that's in store. Also be careful, if a tag says sold as seen, it probably means there's an issue with it. It just means that you can't get any money deducted off that because they've already seen the issue and they've taken that into consideration. Charity shops, I've asked recently how often they get stock. I was told by a local charity shop that they put out about 100 new items a day, so that's why you have to go quite regularly. And if you like something, honestly, if you really like it, I'd recommend buying that day because it may not be there the next day. Maybe take an hour or so to think about it, go to a couple of other charity shops, but you're probably going to want to buy it quite soon because it could be gone. I've picked out a few things to kind of talk about. I probably have some other items that I bought at charity shops, but these were just the ones I kind of thought were worth talking about for some reason or another. So the first item I wore kind of recently, I hope it's not dirty, is from New Look. After I said I don't really buy cheap items, I picked this up because I liked it, to be honest, and it cost me £1 because I went to a charity shop that everything was £1, and it's just this plain crop top. It's black and white and it's long sleeved, and I liked it. It's a size 12, and for that price I was very happy with it. I think I'll get quite a bit of wear out of it. It was in good condition. It's not bobbly or anything like that. It's kind of bobbling up a little bit now, but I have one of those little debobblers, and I don't think it's like visibly overly worn or anything like that, so it picks that up. Then on to one of my actually one of my favorite items I've bought, and that is this shirt. It's a linen shirt from Marks and Spencer's. This doesn't have a sizing at the top. When I bought this, I think they had this on like the medium section. I had a look inside after I bought it, and it's actually a UK 20. This shirt is really quite big on me. I think I paid about £7 or £8 for this shirt, but it's 100% linen. I love this shirt. I wore this loads on holiday. It's just a perfect cover up, or I can tuck it into shorts, although it is quite long. But for me, £7 or £8, the most beautiful cover up. I love the white, I love the linen. I think I'll have this shirt for a long time, especially because it is big and oversized. Another Marks and Spencer's purchase. I do find Marks and Spencer's is one of those brands that you get loads and loads in charity shops. I think probably, in my opinion, it's the #1. I think probably because people shop a lot at Marks and Spencer's, and I think it's like a nice middle price point. They do lots of like classic shapes, so it's a brand that I'm quite happy to buy from charity shops. I'm missing a button, but that's my own fault. When I bought it, it had the button. But this is just a trench. I'm going to insert a picture of me wearing this because it would just be easier. Just like a really classic shape. I think I paid about £16 to £18 for this. At the time, it was the most expensive thing I'd ever bought from a charity shop. It's a trench coat, still reasonable. My guess is that when this was new, it was probably about the £70 mark is my guess. Really excellent condition, apart from the fact that now I have lost my button. I got it in a size 14, which was just great because it was just a little bit oversized. I can fit really big jumpers under it, and I've worn it quite a lot, and again, I think it's one I'll have for quite a long time. Then I just have 3 jumpers to show you. The first one is this cream one, which I bought from a charity shop in Hampstead. I paid about, I don't know, maybe about £10 for this, maybe 18, because it is cashmere, and cashmere is like a little bit more expensive at charity shops. This is from Uniqlo. Honestly, I probably shouldn't have bought this one, but at the time I was just after some good cashmere jumpers that weren't too expensive. It's in a really nice condition. I just think that this colour kind of washes me out a little bit, so I don't wear it that much, but it's really warm and it's classic. I will probably have it for quite a while. This is in a size large. I like it. I don't necessarily love it, but I'm always after cashmere jumpers from charity shops. You do find some, but often they're in funny colours or they're not in great condition. But this one was in good condition and it's a nice colour. It just doesn't really suit me, but since then I have bought the Marks and Spencer's one, but I've got that off eBay. From my favourite charity shop, I got that white linen shirt. I also picked up this little kind of peplum-y, I guess, top from Topshop. I think this cost like £4-ish. This was quite an affordable item, so I picked this one up and I really like it. This is in a size 12. Really lovely condition. I think it probably wasn't even worn, to be honest. I also picked up from the same shop this dress from Faithful the brand. Now honestly, I'm not sure if I should have bought this one. This is in a size large. Like I said, I'm usually a medium, but it's okay in terms of sizing. It is a little bit big on me, but where I have quite a full bust and it's like a tie, I don't know, it's a little bit big on me. I haven't actually worn this yet. I probably shouldn't have bought this year because didn't really have an opportunity to wear it because it was just a funny summer really. I paid about maybe £18 for this as well. But Faithful the brand is relatively expensive, which is why I was drawn to it in the first place. I do think it's beautiful, but if I'm honest, I haven't worn it, which is a real shame. I do think I will wear it, but I think I could even wear it in winter. Maybe my challenge is to put a little jumper under this and wear this in winter with some boots. I actually think it'd be quite nice. But yes, I picked that up. And then the last two are my most recent pickup. Still got the tag because it's recent. I picked it up for £9.99. And it's a size 12 and it's from & Other Stories. Oh, it's a bit itchy, which is why I'm a little bit unsure about it. It is made of wool, mohair and polyamide, which is part of the reason I was drawn to it because it is wool. It's largely wool and mohair. It is a little bit itchy and I think that's the mohair in it. I just thought it was really nice. For £9.99 I think it was a steal because usually this jumper would be, I think, about the £80 to £90 in & Other Stories. It's in excellent condition. I think that this ended up in the charity shop having not been worn. And I think the person didn't wear it because they bought it and then it turned out it was too itchy. I could be wrong, but that's my theory. And then lastly, I have this jumper, which I'm a little bit unsure about. I might keep it, I might give it to my boyfriend, or I might return it. Let me know what you think. But this is from a brand called A Day's March, which I've never heard of. It's a men's size medium. I paid £7.50 for it. And it's made of, which I think is quite important with jumpers, 100% lamb's wool. That's why I picked it up. Quality wise, it's beautiful. It's not bobbly at all. It looks pretty much brand new. I'm a little bit unsure about the colour on me, but I do like it. I think I'm gonna let my boyfriend try it on, and then maybe if he likes it then we can kind of share it. But yeah, that's another little example. But that's the end of this video. I think it may have been a little bit long. I am thinking about doing some come shopping with me in charity shops. Do let me know if that's something you'd be interested in and I can film that for you next week. Hopefully some of these tips were useful. Do let me know if you have ventured into charity shops recently, or if you just have always loved charity shops and you grew up going to them. And I would also love to hear any tips that you may have in the comments. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you all very soon. Bye.